Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Monday, March 9th, and you know what that means. It's time for the High Risk Wrestling Recap. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce. You know you can check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And without further ado, let's get into the news. Demolition, the famed WWE tag team Bill X. Edie and Barry Smash Darsow will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. They were managed by Mr. Fuji and became one of the most feared tag teams in all of professional wrestling. WrestleMania 4, they defeated Strikeforce to win their first WWF Tag Team Championship, and their reign lasted 478 days, a record that stood for 20 years until the New Day broke it. Lady Frost is set to become a free agent on April 1st. Unless something happens, she will not be re-signing with AEW. She's a big part of Ring of Honor, and I'm hoping she gets a good landing somewhere else. The WWE and ESPN partnership has been called a DNA mismatch behind the scenes. Something's not working. Something is not clicking. And even further proof from that is that ESPN is not happy with WWE's WrestleMania Blackout Watch Party, and I'm with them. Like, why would you tell people that you can't watch WrestleMania in like bars and clubs and whatnot? You're just denying yourself business. It looks like Kevin Knight will be getting a bigger push, and you can clearly see that on TV. Everything's going on with him, and Swerve is definitely going to lead to something. I think he's going to join Swerve's new embassy. I'm just throwing that out there. And Kevin Knight has even just signed a new deal with AEW. Looks like he re-up. Remember, he first signed in 2025. So if he's re-upping after only a year, that means they got big plans for him. As I speculated on the last episode of the High Risk Wrestling Podcast, it looks like Io Sky will be facing Julia at WrestleMania. Now, remember, they had announced this match previously for SmackDown and then took it back. So a match that many wrestling fans like myself have been salivating for looks like it is going down at WrestleMania for the United States Championship. Mance Warner and Steph DeLander have quit TNA after Stephanie could not get any medical clearance from her neck injury. It looks like TNA were not going to clear her. She even had apparently WWE and AEW doctors look at her, and they kind of gave her the okay. Her regular doctor gave her the okay, but TNA were like, no. Stephanie even said she paid for 2 neck surgeries. TNA does not have an on-staff doctor, among many things. This is not a good look for TNA. The Dogs are now all elite. Gabe Kidd, David Finlay, and Clark Connors are officially part of the AEW roster. The former Bullet Club War Dogs have been making a statement for themselves, making statements all across AEW in the last couple of weeks, and now it is official. The crazy thing is, a lot of people speculated that David Finlay would go join his younger brother Uriah Connors in the WWE, and the reason he did not sign with the WWE is they wanted him to start on NXT, and he was like, no, I am a respected veteran in this business. I've been wrestling for many years. I don't need to be in NXT. And then to top it all off, AEW just gave him more money and a better offer. And even with that, he can still work New Japan. He can work Ring of Honor. He can work AAA. I'm not AAA. He can work CMLL. It just works out that way. Road Dogg is no longer part of the WWE. He still has a Legends deal, but he has left the WWE on the creative side of things. He had been with them since 2014, and he was the co-lead writer of SmackDown. He didn't like his performance review, among other things, and it just wasn't working out. AEW has announced My AEW, which is their new global streaming platform. It is a way for mainly international audience to get a hold of AEW and Ring of Honor. Also, it has good tiers. It's something that is really great. The American users can use it as well, but they won't get the same deal with pay-per-views, as remember pay-per-views are airing on Max and Prime. But this is a great deal. Great piece of business for AEW, just continuously moving things ahead. Steve Macklin has re-signed with TNA. His storyline is ongoing, but he's officially back with TNA. It's kind of like he never left. On the injury side of things, Roosh has made his return. He wrestled on Collision, which was really, really solid. He looks like he's going to be doing some different things. It looks like Jordan Grace is also hurt. Chelsea Green made fun of her. I think she was a wheelchair available. We don't know the extent of Jordan Grace's injury, so we'll just wait and see. It looks like it's an ankle injury. Kevin Owens is set for a summer reevaluation on his medical side. We know he's been out for almost over a year now with that neck injury. We just have to wait and see. So it's just good news that he's getting reevaluated. Penelope Ford looked like she would be out of action for a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two with her ankle injury. But Lena Cross has stepped in to keep the team of Mega Bad going. But that is the news, and we should be right back with the week in review. Let's get into the week in review. You know, we start off with Monday Night Raw. The show gets a fist, and Punk was throwing some shots. So we come out with the remains of the Vision, and Seth pretty much tricked them. Had multiple masked men kind of distract them, chase them away for Seth, allowing Seth to hit Paul Heyman with a chair and then giving him a curb stomp. So now they're taking Paul to the back. Jimmy Uso attacks Logan in Theory, and then LA Knight was driving the ambulance and stole Paul Heyman. Okay, let's see where we're going. It looks like we're probably going to do Jimmy and LA Knight versus Logan Paul and Austin Theory at WrestleMania, unless they do Seth versus Theory again, or Seth versus Logan again at WrestleMania. Our first match of the evening was Gunther versus Dragon Lee. This was the culmination of the multiple attacks that Dragon Lee was doing on Gunther. That makes it sound like Dragon Lee was the bad guy here, but he was not. This was a really solid affair, but ultimately, after Gunther ripped off Dragon Lee's mask, he locked in a sleeper, and Gunther made him tap. There's still tension going on with Damage Control. Asuka had confronted Kairi about the Elimination Chamber, and Kairi's trying to defend herself. I say Damage Control is the Kabuki Warriors. I'm stupid. Lord. AJ approached Kairi to check on her. AJ made her way to the ring, laid an open challenge for WrestleMania. She will be a fighting champion. I'm very much still expecting it to be either AJ versus Becky or a fatal four-way with AJ, Becky, Natty, and Maxine Dupree. Penta vowed to win the Intercontinental title later tonight. Liv Morgan addressed Stephanie McCare and the attack she put down on her. Liv's like, yeah, you're talented. You're legitimately great, but you're not me. Next match was El Grande Americano OG versus Rayo Americano. OG won in a solid affair with the Chaos Theory suplex. Backstage, we were the Judgment Day again. Liv suggested Raquel to go after AJ for the Aussie title at WrestleMania, so they both have title matches, and Finn told down that he's got to handle Penta on his own tonight. Rusev called out Obafemi. These two big meaty men started slapping man meat, and ultimately Femi was able to knock Rusev down and run him away. Bayley and Lyra are frustrated about possibly missing the WrestleMania card, and maybe we'll go after AJ Lee. Kairi exited Pierce's office and stared them down. Jimmy Uso took on Austin Theory. Jimmy won by DQ after Logan Paul interfered. He in Theory attacked Jimmy, and Jey Uso ran them off. And Jay came back and ran them off. So maybe we do that match. WrestleMania is going to be weird with the Vision and Seth and the Usos. Remember, the Usos are the current tag team champions. Danhausen was backstage. He gave Pierce his list of demands, and the Judgment Day walked by, clowned Danhausen, and Danhausen ended up cursing Dominic. It's not good for Dom. Rhea said she's going after Jade. She's won the chamber, and that her told Io that, this is not the end, but we got to part ways for now in the main event match. 4 matches on Raw. Penta defeated Dom to win the Intercontinental Championship after Finn would not give Dom, I believe, the ring bell hammer. So we'll see where we're going with that. I think we're going to do Finn versus Dom at WrestleMania. And lastly, Roman and Punk had some words with each other. As before Roman could even start, Punk came out, said, "Yo, you said you hate me, so I am definitely in your head." Roman doesn't like Punk, kind of buried him, and then Punk's like, no, you just can't say stuff and then leave. Punk actually said that I'm going to bury you next to your father, and that, I guess, shook Roman. Whatever. Over on Dynamite, this show gets a thumbs up. This show was just awesome. We're pushing forward towards Revolution. The first match was MJF putting the world title on the line against Kevin Knight. It's so funny. MJF taunted Kevin Knight, saying, you can't do an arm drag. He hit Kevin Knight with an arm drag, and Kevin Knight hit him with like 3 straight Japanese arm drags. It's just fun. Really, really good match. You knew MJF was always going to win here. He got the one with the Heat Seeker, but this did nothing to diminish Kevin Knight. It was really, really good to see him in this position. Like we said, they see big things for Kevin Knight in the future. MJF attacked after the match, and the Hangman and Speedball made the save. Then we had Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin take on Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors. And I thought they would save this match for the pay-per-view, but it was really solid. But ultimately, Cassidy and Darby got the W. I really wish the Dogs would have won this match. David Finlay ended up making his debut and attacking Cassidy and Darby after the match. The Dogs stood tall. Backstage, Renee was interviewing Bandito about his match with Andrade Revolution, and Bandito's ready. He wasn't expecting Andrade to answer the call, but he will do it. And Andrade mocked Bandito. Then we had the Brawling Birds making another dominant win statement against the debuting Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jessie K. This was just great. Even though the Brawling Birds won, look, Cassie and Jessie know exactly what they're doing. Comedy gold here. I expect nothing less from these two squads. Hangman won a squash match, and then after the match, he called out MJF about the Texas Death Match, and Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, and Kazuchika Okada attacked Hangman. So Hangman's tag team partner Speedball and Kevin Knight ran out to make the save, and Kyle's like, "Yo, trios titles, put them on the line tonight." Sure, we'll do it. That is the main event. We had a sit-down interview with the Young Bucks and FTR. Both teams, did what they did, traded insults, and the Bucks said, "You crossed the line when you attacked our parents and our brother." FTR mocked them, said, "All right, whatever, we can't touch you, but we can still touch him," and they ended up punching and beating up Brandon Cutler. Jon Moxley took on another member of the Don Callis family, Hechicero, in an elimination match, and just like all the other matches against El Clone, against Mark Davis, was there another Continental Eliminator match? He's faced a lot of members. I think he even faced Lance Archer. Mox won the match here with the Death Rider. Takeshita appeared on stage. Look, he's coming for that belt. It's going down at Revolution, ladies and gentlemen. Brody King called out Swerve, and he wanted to prove who truly was the most dangerous man in AEW. Prisnana caused a distraction, allowing Swerve to show up, hit a house call, and choke Brody with the chain over the ropes. Swerve put the rest of the locker room on notice. Bandito finally showed up to make the save. The Death Riders discussed their upcoming challenges, and Wheeler Yuta vented about losing his hair, being mocked by the fans. Marina and Mox promised to go to extreme lengths to win their respective matches at Revolution. Thekla put the Women's Championship on the line against Thunder Rosa in a solid fair. But Thunder's still getting her, her sea legs back, but Thekla ultimately won with the spear and curb stomp. After the match, the rest of the Triangle of Badness attacked her until Chris Statler made the save. Then we were interviewed with Ciampa and FTR, and talking about the history. Ciampa vowed to get the TNT title back. Ciampa rejected the offer to join them and ended up punching Dax, and FTR was like, "Okay, we'll see what goes on here." Tony hyped up Orange Cassidy. who was icing his ribs, and Cassidy vowed to keep fighting the War Dogs alongside Darby Allin. I'm expecting a third man to enter into the fold here. It's not going to be Mark Briscoe, so I don't know just yet. But in the main event, Kazuchika Okada, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Davis took on Jet Set Rodeo, or is either Jet Set Rodeo or Jet Speed Rodeo, with the trios titles on the line. A great fun match. But ladies and gentlemen, we have new champions. Yes, Okada, Fletcher, and Mark Davis won the trios title, bringing some more gold to the Don Callis family. Mark Davis actually got the pinfall here, so that makes 3 double champions in AEW: Okada, Fletcher, and Willow Nightingale. Over on Impact, Moose and Santana, they're not playing around. They've got some challengers coming up, and they're taking them on. The show gets a fist. Ariana Grace put the Knockout Championship on the line against a Jody Threat. Multiple knockouts were watching around ringside and backstage. Tessa, Victoria, Mila Moore, Lei Ying Lee, Zaya Brookside, Danny Luna, Andy Hart were all watching, but ultimately Grace got the win with a quick roll-up and stealing the pin. She tried to use the Cobra, but it was she got the W. Carlos Silva attempted to hand Grace the championship until Stax grabbed it and gave it to his girl. Gia Miller interviewed the Nemus backstage, and Nick praised Leon Slater, but said that Slater wasn't on his level, and Ryan hyped up Nick in the X Division title match. We were in the ring with the Elegance brand. This is just a whole hum segment, whatever. Making fun of the crowd, making fun of Mama June, until ODB made her return, and it ended up with everybody dumping barbecue sauce on the Elegance brand. Ash wasn't there, as she's taking a mental health day after what Mickie James did to her. Matt and Jeff were backstage with Leon Slater, and they encouraged him. They said they would watch us back during the title defense. Rich Swann and BD took on Brian Myers and Bear Bronson, Sinner and Saint in the Righteous, and the number one contenders tag team match. But ultimately, the team of Bear Bronson and Brian Myers, representing the system, got to the W. They are now the number one contenders for the tag team championship. We got a video promo, right? Where Rosemary declared she was doing something. We know Rosemary, she's cryptic with her promos, so she's got a list. What is this about? Moose and Alicia Edwards are in the ring. Moose addresses issues with the system. He vowed to fight each member of the system, starting with Cedric next week in their street fight. Alicia says she no longer recognizes the system and will stand by Moose, which means ultimately she's going to turn on Moose at some point and join her husband Eddie Edwards, who Moose vowed to defeat last. So that leaves to Cedric. Who else is in the system? Cedric, Brian Myers, Bear Bronson, and Eddie Edwards. You know Alicia Edwards is going to turn on Moose, and Moose should know this. We got the injury report about Ali, Mickey, and Leon Slater. Backstage, Rich Swann encouraged BD after the tag match loss. Trey Miguel also offered encouragement in the great hands of mock BD for losing. Jada Stone nearly fought with Tasha Slismaro Sade. Ultimately took a loss to Elena Black after Elena secretly used the brass knuckles and knocked out Sade, but I do not expect these two to be done anytime soon. AJ Francis mocked the Auto Atlanta sports teams, and he bragged about running Mance Warner from TNA. I mean, Mance Warner really is gone. The hometown man confronted him in a brawl. We got a King's speech segment in the ring. Kaz mocked Elijah's lack of championships. I mean, Kaz, you've been in TNA for forever and only just now won the world championship. So let's not go that far. But Elijah said he was finished with Ali. So Cash, you want to be up next? Okay. Well, everybody started brawling. AJ and Hometown Man were still brawling. Elijah was brawling. Everybody's fighting. Eric Young grabbed the cameraman, said he hoped Leon Slater wins tonight. Rosemary was backstage in the office of Carlos Silva with Tommy Dreamer. She's preparing to sign her contract, and well, the door opened and there was a rabbit or a bear or someone standing in the doorway, and Rosemary said 1 down, 6 more to go. I do expect the Demon Bunny Ali to return and reform her tag team with Rosemary Leon Slater put the X Division on the line against Nick Nemeth in a great fun match, but ultimately Leon Slater won with the Swanton 450. Go check out this match, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Young attacked Slater after the match and delivered a power driver on the floor. In our main event segment, Mike Santana addressed Steve Macklin attacking Tom Hannafin, and Santana, look, he called out Santino to listen, reinstate Macklin. I want him. Daria Ray appeared and declared she was running the show tonight. She reinstated Macklin, and Santino arriving now. Santana versus Macklin for the title at Sacrifice. What is going on with Santino and Daria? They gotta figure this out. We'll see what happens there. Haffinen and Ruho criticized management for enabling Macklin as a show aired. SmackDown, yeah. This show gets a thumbs down, and you know why this show gets a thumbs down. We opened up with Trick and Randy. Well, Randy was out, did his usual stick. Trick tried to make fun of Randy. He caught an RKO out of nowhere. Nick Aldis was with Mello, said, listen, you want to put a challenge? Oh, challenge goes in the line. El Hijo del Dr. Wagner answered the U.S. title challenge, and it was a solid match. A little sloppy in the early parts, but he ultimately got things together. Mello won with the nothing but net. Ilya and Miz and Kit Wilson were backstage, and Kathy interviewed Dragunov about declining the U.S. Open Challenge, and he said, look, he would only accept opportunities he felt he truly earned. Miz and Kit Wilson were like, yo, bro, that's the title. Dragunov replied he would be waiting to fight either one of them. Damian Priest and R-Truth will be in tag team turmoil, with the winners getting a tag team title shot. Drew confronted Aldis about putting the title on the limelight, and Drew said, you Aldis said that if Cody doesn't win the Rumble or the Chamber, he would not get a title shot. And Nick said, yeah, but you kept interfering and screwing up, so I had to go back on things. Then we had a celebration for Lash and Nia, our new tag team champions. And they had challengers from Charlotte and Alexa, from Kiana and Joya. So we got a number one contender match. Charlotte and Alexa beat Kiana and Joya because that was how it was always going to go. But the worst part of this was Joya took the pinfall because for some reason this is no knock on Kiana James, but we're trying to protect Kiana and not pump up Joya. It just doesn't make sense. Cody and Sammy had some words with each other, and Sammy implied Cody often benefits from second chances, which he often does benefit from second chances. Cody accused Sammy of already lobbying for a title shot. Sammy says that he only simply wanted to wish him luck. The heel turn is coming. The heel turn for Sami Zayn is coming. We had the tag team turmoil. Tag team turmoil was essentially a tag team gauntlet match. So we started off with Nathan Frazier and Axiom. For Axiom taking on the Motor City Machine Guns. For Axiom defeated them. Then they took on Los Garza. Los Garza defeated them. Then Los Garza ended up also eliminating the Wyatts, which is very, very shocking. But ultimately they fell to Priest and Truth, who are now the new number one contenders. Sammy then was backstage with Randy, and Sammy asked how can Randy betray Cody like that despite President Orton said, listen, sometimes you have to be selfish to be champion. And he encouraged Sammy to believe in himself and listen to those voices. The Sammy heel turn is coming. Sami Zayn will be world champion this year. Lock it in. Rhea and Jade had a confrontation. This was about their match at WrestleMania. Very, very simple. Jade said she respects Rhea, but she's going to beat her, yada, yada, yada. And Rhea said, Jade's, great physique is only for show and it's not to fight. This is basic. They better ramp this up somehow, someway. We are 5 weeks away from WrestleMania. Candice LeRae had to re-inspire her husband, Johnny Gargano, who made an open challenge. And, of course, that was answered by the ruler, Obafemi, who quickly ran through him. I am just waiting for Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae to be all elite. Jade cross paths with Michin and B-Fab. And Jade's going to face Michin next week. Danhausen was told by others that the Miz would mentor him, and Miz was like, nah. Danhausen said, well, I cursed Dom on Raw. You saw what happened to him. Main event match, WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre put the title on the line against Cody Rhodes, and fine match, whatever. Cody won, and he will be taking on Randy Orton at WrestleMania. This pretty much sucks for Drew. It was a fine match. It went about 20 minutes, whatever. Over on Collision, this was a solid show, but it needed more women's matches. Collision usually does a really good job of putting on more than one women's match, but they only gave us one, which sucks. The opening contest was the tag team titles being on the line, the men's tag team titles being on the line, with FTR defending against the Rascals team of Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wentz. This was really solid, but FTR were always going to get the W because, you know, they have the match against the Young Bucks at Revolution. Even though, if, you know, the Rascals won, they would have taken on the Bucks, but this was a good match. Ultimately, FTR got the win with the Shatter Machine. Hook and Shibata were filming another segment about recruiting some more people for the ops. They had found somebody backstage, but Hook just choked them out. Daniel Garcia took on Tommaso Ciampa. What's his name? Mark Briscoe was on commentary, you know, to make sure nothing happened to his boy. Ciampa landed a Project Ciampa for a close near fall, but Mark Briscoe accidentally got involved at ringside, allowing Daniel Garcia to get the quick roll up, which pissed off Ciampa. Ciampa was upset. But they squashed. The FTR came out, confronted Ciampa, and Briscoe backed them off, and though Ciampa turned on him at the top of the stage and ended up attacking him, hitting him, beating him down. All right, so that's one heel turn. I'm waiting for one more for the embassy to come back. We got highlights of Claudio versus Takeshita at the Continental Classic. They are facing each other later tonight. Swerve beat Gravity. Very, very solid match. Chris was backstage, and Chris Statlander, and she, you know, suggested 2 out of 3 falls for the title match at Revolution. Declan was like, nah, you know what? You can't beat me twice in one night. So that's the women's title match at Revolution. Mox told Renee that he respects Takeshita because he knows Takeshita can beat him. He's not scared of him. He just recognizes the talent that Takeshita is. LFI, the Swirl, Private Party, and the Outrunners faced each other in a $200,000 fatal 4-way tag team match. This was fun. It's the usual deal you get from these party tag team matches from AEW, but ultimately Private Party won the match. It was good to see the Outrunners back on AEW TV. Just we discussed the recent losses and upcoming matches, and then Swerve showed up and warned Kevin Knight that, you know, maybe you need to become a killer. Let's just see what happens. Leading across and Mega Bane had attacked Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron earlier in the day. Actually, no, this was earlier. This was in England, I think, or backstage. But anyway, this led to a tag match with Mega Bane and Leading Across taking on Tony Storm, Mina Shakawa, and Shocker, ladies and gentlemen. Mega Bane and Leading Across won in a solid match. Marina Shafir got involved, attacking Tony Storm. Lena got the W, hitting the jackhammer on Mina Shirakawa. So Mark Briscoe's upset. It's okay. So he laid down a challenge to FTR and Tommaso Ciampa. FTR are one of his biggest rivals, so he's going to team up with another big rival, and that would be none other than the Young Bucks. The Dogs, Clark Connors, Gabe Kidd, David Finlay won a squash match, just running through, who was it? Cosmo, Ryan, GMO, Kaminari, and Jaden Monroe. They got destroyed. Tony Storm challenged Marina Shafir to a match. No one is to get involved, and everyone is banned from ringside. The main event match was Claudio Castagnoli versus Konosuke Takeshita. Marina gave her answer during those matches. She accepted. This was a solid match. This was not for the CMLL World Championship. Takeshita got the W, hitting the Raging Fire on Claudio. I could watch these two fight all day, ladies and gentlemen. After the match, Takeshita confronted Mox. Hechicero attacked Mox. Claudio rejoined the fight, and we got a brawl between the two respective factions. Collision was good. I just needed some more women's matches. Maybe I just think because most of them were in. No, you know what? This would have been a good way for the Inspiration to get a W. Just put them on the show. Have them face Hiana Maya World, right? And give the Inspiration a W. I just wanted one more women's match on the show. Our matches of the week, ladies and gentlemen, from Raw: Gunther versus Dragon Lee. From Dynamite, 3 of them things, MJF versus Kevin Knight for the World Championship, John Moxley versus Hechicero, and of course the Trios Championship match, the Don Callis family versus Jet Speed or Rodeo. Then this one is for the ladies and gentlemen. From CMLL, La Noche de la Amazonas, Megan Bain versus Olympia. These two horses fought to a draw. From that same show, Persephone versus Mercedes Moné for the CMLL Women's World Championship. Just awesome work from these two ladies. From Collision, the Takeshita Claudio match, and for Eve, the all-women's UK promotion, which has just been amazing. Came back with 2 shows. From Eve 145, Women Behaving Badly, Jamie Hayter versus Miyu Yamishita. And from 146, Wrestle Queendom 8, Alex Windsor versus Syuri for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. And an awesome match. Our stars of the week, I'm giving it to the Eve promotion, Persephone, Charlie, the former Dakota Kai, making her long-awaited return to professional wrestling, the Don Callis family, and Tatum Paxley, who became your new women's North American champion NXT at Vengeance. Was it Vengeance Day? I think Vengeance Day. Those are all of our stars of the week. But that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Look on the screen we got coming up. And you can check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course, the 215 on Twitter. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.